Okay, in this example, we're going to do the example 3 from section 1.2 of the notes. And again, this is drawn from the Hughes Hallett textbook. And just like always, I think it's really good to follow a pattern for problems like this. So if you might very well be able to just look at this problem and do it, almost immediately, and that's fine. But I'm teaching this for everyone else who kind of needs to follow a pattern and break it down. And so my first step is always to read it out loud or really close to out loud in my head, and then to kind of highlight the numbers, write them down, and then follow the same formulas that we usually use. So I'll start by reading it out loud. A cell phone company charges a monthly fee of $25 plus $0.05 per minute. Find a formula for the monthly charge C in dollars as a function of the number of minutes M the phone is used during the month. So I'll start by highlighting the crucial things. So $25 plus 0.05 per minute. I guess C and M are also kind of important. So again, you might just know immediately how to write this down, but I'm going to make it look as much like the other examples as possible. So I'm going to start by thinking about a linear equation, probably everyone's favorite form, the slope-intercept form. I'll put that in quotes because all of the letters that we're using here are going to be different. So we're going to have C instead of Y. I'm going to be very careful here. I'm just going to say we're going to have a number for the slope and M instead of X. That's pretty weird, but it makes sense in this problem. M will be minutes. So I'll have a number in place of the usual slope. I'll have M in place of X. And then I guess I'll have another number at the end, of course, for B. And so if you look at it this way, I don't need those last quote marks. If you look at it this way, really what I need to figure out in this problem is the two numbers that play the role of M and B. So one of the numbers is the y-intercept, which is what is the value at 0, and the other number is, of course, the slope. Okay, so let's start with the easy one, the y-intercept. I'll put the y in quotes because it's not really y in this case. So the y-intercept is equal to the value at 0, or what you get when you plug in 0. In this case, if you have 0 minutes, then you won't be charged any of the 0.05 per minute. You'll only be charged the value of C, which will be $25. So that's our value for B. And so now we need to figure out what the slope is, and it's basically given to you. We've been told that the charge changes per minute, dollars per minute. And that dollars per minute is basically telling you that that's a slope. So the units here are dollars per minute, and that looks like what we would have for the units of slope, which is always a fraction. And so I think the units kind of help guide you in the right place. So in any case, the slope here is 0.05. And so my final formula is C equals 0.05 M plus 25. Now, I did do that problem a little bit differently than the other problems. The other problems I always kind of started by pulling out two numbers or two pairs of numbers. But in this case, they didn't give us two pairs of numbers, so it was bound to be a little bit different. If you want, there is a way you could make it look even more like the other problems. But again, they didn't give it to us, so I have to kind of change it a little bit. So if you want to do this a slightly different way, you can make 2 points and then make it more like the other problems. So 1 point would be 0 minutes, means $25 charge. They kind of gave us that. or we can look at it. And then you'd have to make up another example, like, well, let's see, if I did 10 minutes, and then you could figure out what the charge is. Let's see, it would be 25 plus, and then for 10 minutes, and each minute costs 5 cents, this would be $0.5. So that's 10 minutes times 0.05. And so that would be 25.5. Okay, so now if you wanted to do it this way, let me clean up my last number there a little hard to read. If you want to do it this way, you can do it just like we did before. We have 0 and 25, and we have 10 and 25.5. So now you have two pairs of numbers, and you can calculate the slope, and everything else will be very similar to the other problems. You'll end up kind of going around in a circle, because if you calculate the slope now, you'll see, where did we get this second number, 25.5? We got it by using the slope and adding 10 times that. So that's okay. You can do it either way, but it certainly will come out to be the same answer, which is up above.